Last episode, we continued transforming the desert into a tropical paradise. But at this point, I've spent over a month in the desert and I'm kind of getting burnt out, so I've decided to do some work back at the old starter island. And, well, do you guys see this mountain here? I've decided I don't like it. Not only have I decided I don't like it, I've decided it could be much better. Since this is going to be such a big project, we have to start by leaving hardcore and head into our creative testing world. And so we're going to get started by just absolutely obliterating the mountain with an airbrush tool, getting rid of all the snow, ice, and stone, and any of the ores that are in the interior of the mountain. Then after that, we'll just go through and get rid of all the snow layers and lava pools that are left over. And finally, we'll clear out some of the trees so we have a clear idea of where the base of the mountain is. Next, we're just going to come in with the freehand draw tool and we're going to set it to the shape of a cone. And I'm just going to go around the entire mountain range, basically spamming these cones as much as I can to give us an idea of where the main peaks for the mountain will be. Now, I'm fairly certain there's a way for us to automatically do this process by using height maps and converting them into Minecraft builds, but I really want to do this all from scratch so I can properly learn how to build mountains without the use of external tools. But once we were done with the cones, it was time to move on to using the sphere brush to help fill in any voids that we had and bring the cones closer together. Then we're just going to go back over with an even smaller sphere brush to help with the blending even more and also help to give us some more natural rock formations. Once that was done, it was just time to go over the entire mountain with the smoothing tool to melt it all together. Then after that, I did another pass with a small spherical brush to help create some highlights and more defined rocks. Then once again, to make things look less uniform, we came back over with the smoothing brush. And then finally, I went over the entire mountain with the second half of that process once more, by just coming in with a small circular brush to get some more defined rocks, and then going in once again to smooth it out. But now that I had the shape of the mountain I wanted, and of course we can always tweak this later, I went in with a red wool brush and I masked it to the surface. That way we could paint over the entire mountain but only have the exterior layer affected. And once that was done, we went into the interior with a massive airbrush and cleared out all the remaining debris. And at this point, it was time to actually start painting and getting the gradient installed. But I don't want to spoil the end of this video, so you guys are going to have to watch all the way through to see that happen. But with that, it's time to get started on this project. Now, first things first, down here I know, yes I do, I have a ton of extra chests available, and we're going to be needing all of them because this mountain is going to utilize over 500,000 blocks. Now, the first step in this process is removing the mountain that's currently here. However, before we can do that, I'm going to head up to the top to collect a bunch of snow blocks because we will be needing those to build. Now, another thing, this is actually not the first time we've removed a mountain in this hardcore world. If you guys remember back when we built our automatic iron farm, there was a mountain we had to remove in order to make room for that. This means if we fly out to our iron farm here and check inside of these chests, we should have a lot of the items we need still tucked away inside of here. And yes, there we go. This is really good news. But after coming back from our iron farm, we have about 13 or almost 13 double chests full of stone. This entire row here is full of stone, and so is this one. Now, that is nowhere near the amount of blocks we're going to need, but that will make a dent in the progress. But now that I have all of my shulker boxes empty, it's time to fly up to the top of this mountain here, and we are going to begin collecting as many snow blocks as possible. Now, we do need over 28,000 pieces of this, which is over 439 stacks. So everybody say a prayer for me, please, because I have got my work cut out for me. I am less than 10 minutes into this process, and I am just now realizing this is going to take way too long. So I'm heading back to our base to collect some supplies, and we're going to build a snow block farm. Fortunately, this snow block farm was a really simple design, and I was able to bust it out in just about 20 minutes. Then it was on to AFKing for just a handful of hours, and just like that, we have managed to fill up all of these chests here with snow blocks. And aside from the time it took me to run back and forth between the gold farm to repair my tools and get some extra levels and repair my elytra, it only took about 3 hours. But with the snow blocks collected, it's time to move on to stone. Fortunately for us, even though we need over 103,000 pieces of stone, this should be another relatively easy part of the process, because during one of my last episodes, I built this insane cobblestone generator and super smelter. And apparently I left some shulker boxes out here too, look at that. And I left this thing running for a little bit, so we already have a bunch of double chests completely full of cobblestone, aside from this here rotten flesh, of course. But all I'm gonna have to do is AFK here for a few hours and then transfer the blocks over into this building, which houses a massive super Hey! Oh, whoa, get out of here. Unwanted guests, unwanted guests. Please, everybody vacate the premises. Apparently, I need to light that up there. Do I have any torches? I do. Okay, wait, let me grab them real quick. Let's just, let's fix this problem really fast. But yeah, anyways, this thing should handle all of that cobblestone relatively quickly. You have got to be kidding me. Can I get one sentence out? Before we do that, we are actually a couple thousand blocks away from where we're getting all of our other blocks right now. So I've brought along some obsidian with me because we are going to be setting up a nether portal somewhere here, like right here in this ice kind of plane would be a good idea to place it temporarily. And then we'll just head on in and we're going to pillar up towards the nether roof here. Hopefully we are high enough to be able to break into the roof with our ender pearls. Let's try this out. Yes, sir. There we go. And then I think we need to be at X277 and then Z501. This right here should be the corner of our nether portal. So we'll just build this up top here so we can link it. See if this works out. Sure does. I'll take that. Nice. So now we can travel on the nether roof over to our snowy biome. And this is actually, look how much closer this is to our main portal back at our starter base. That saves us so much time. So I'm just going to create a waypoint here and put stone farm. There we go. Nice. So now that we have a faster way to travel all the way out here, we can begin the process of smelting down all of this stone. However, one thing I'm going to need to do is unfortunately extend our storage system down. We are gonna have to kind of break through the exterior of the mountain, which sucks, but I'll figure out a way to cover this up some other time. With our storage expanded, let's just take all of this cobblestone here and we can begin throwing it into the super smelter. And while we wait for our cobblestone farm to break down more blocks and for our super smelter to get done smelting the cobblestone into stone, I wanted to take a moment to give a quick shout out to all of my channel members and Patreon members. I know I say this every episode, but you guys really are the lifeblood of this channel, and I can't thank you enough for everything you do. And for those of you who are not Patreon members, consider checking out my page today, because the mountain build will be available to all diamond tier Patreon members at the time this video is uploaded. And my Patreon has some other cool things like exclusive Discord roles and member shoutouts in all my videos. Not to mention the fact that just for $10, you get access to 2 years worth of my work here in hardcore Minecraft. So thanks again, and I hope to see you guys over there. Alright, and after a few hours of AFKing, all of these chests here and this entire row are all filled with stone, except for this last one here. We have a couple extra pieces here, so that's actually some excess stone, but every other one of these is completely full. Now, I know in the beginning of this video, I said the first step was actually removing this mountain, but we're on such a roll with gathering items that we're just gonna start collecting the next one because we are cruising through this progress here. And the next location we must travel to is our entertainment district on the starter island because we need over 13,000 pieces of moss, which luckily for us, we do have our moss farm inside of our greenhouse here, so this should be another really easy block to collect. I mean, it's still going to take a while, but we don't have to do much thinking to acquire this moss. Guys, I'm bored. I mean, I'm really bored. I've been doing nothing but AFKing all day long, but fortunately, we have all of the moss blocks we need. All of these are full now, of course, except for this last one here. This is some extra that I kept. So we can finally mark moss off the list now too, and we can move on to the next block we need. Now, fortunately, for me, this is going to be a much more active segment of the video. I have to head down into our mining district here because the next block on our list is 15,548 pieces of deep slate. Now, we are going to set up a haste 2 beacon so we can mine faster, but I'm actually going to start strip mining around the area here to kind of probe for more veins of tuff because we're going to be needing a lot of tuff as well. Specifically, we need 25,000 blocks of tuff. 25,000. This is about a 40,000 block segment here, so yeah, I gotta get started, man. Now with the deep slate collected, it was on to start gathering up all of the tuff. And I simply started by gathering all the blocks that were already exposed from the mine we made to collect the deep slate, because there was a significant amount of it on the floors and the ceiling. Now as we're going through this, I do want you guys to keep in mind that I am not showing you anywhere near the amount of actual footage and time it took me to collect this tuff. This was a process that took hours upon hours, and if I were to include all of that footage in the video, this video would be like 12 hours long, so I really don't want to bore you guys with that. So just keep that in mind as you're watching. It's gonna feel like I actually didn't do any mining, but trust me, I did. Man, we are making some massive progress today. All of our tough blocks are now filled up, except for a few pieces are right here again, of course. And all of our cobbled deep slate, again, aside from a few empty slots, is also filled up, but we do have more than enough. I made sure to grab a couple extra pieces to make up for those missing pieces in the other chests, so we're good to go on that front. Now, the next block I want to collect is granite, but before we get that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in my inventory, we managed to get a lot of diamond ore. So many pieces, in fact, I think I'm actually going to keep 19 of these deep slate diamond ore to use as decoration somewhere else in the world. But for right now, I've got 3 stacks of diamond ore, and I've got a Fortune 3 pickaxe, so I think you know what comes next. Hurry up and leave your guesses down in the comments. Guess how many diamonds we are going to get out of these few stacks. And if you guess correctly, well, you get nothing. There's nothing in this for you, but it would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. What happens if you guess correctly is I get higher viewer retention. All right, but here we go. This is a pretty big block. Let's get to eating. All right, let's see what we're working with. Oh my God. We got 6 stacks of diamonds and an additional 34. That is pretty good for one mining session. Granted, that mining session was like 8 hours long. Actually, maybe that's not that good. I'm happy about it nonetheless though. So we're gonna go back down into the basement of our starter base, through our secret tunnel, past our ancient doorway, and up and into our treasure and valuable storage room, so we can sacrifice all of our diamonds to our little dragon buddy here and have these well taken care of. But with diamonds and deep slate and tuff out of the way, it's time to move on to granite. With the granite collected, the next block on our list is a bunch of dripstone, specifically over 11,000 pieces of dripstone. Now, looking at my map here, the only issue is I have no idea where the nearest dripstone cave is. I remember finding one underneath kind of like one of these rivers that runs underground here at the beginning of this series, because we did need to collect a bunch of dripstone for our first creeper XP farm, but I don't think this is the location here, so we'll have to keep looking. Hello, pig. What are you doing? I think the cave we may be looking for is actually down over here. This is actually a super nice bamboo jungle. I'd really like to build something here eventually. But here we are, and this is looking very familiar. I was completely guessing that this is where the dripstone cave was, but I think I guessed correctly. Now, the only issue is, this appears to be a very small cave. So unless there's more in the back here, which there's not, we might be in a little bit of trouble. Here, running water over in this part of the cave. Maybe if we dig through, we'll get lucky and there will be a bigger dripstone cave system. There is, but this is all underwater. Okay, that's not gonna work. Oh, here we go. I heard lava over in this direction, and there is some more dripstone here as well. Not a lot, but this could get us a really good start. We'll stay here in this cave for a while to see just how much we can get. Now, the other thing is too, can I craft dripstone? I feel like I definitely can. Yes, I can. Okay, that's good too. So we're just gonna collect everything in here and just see where that takes us. Fortunately for me, what I originally thought was a tiny dripstone cave ended up opening up and expanding into an absolutely massive dripstone cave system. And this one cave alone allowed me to collect most of the dripstone that I needed. So with that, we were clear to move on to the next block on the list, which was andesite. Now again, similar to what I did with tuff, I'm not going to include 90% of the footage in the video because andesite was the block that had the second highest block count that we actually needed. And just to reiterate, I don't want to make you guys sit through 20 minutes of mining footage per block. So for this episode only, I'm electing to exclude most of the footage. I'm only bringing it up because I know that's not something that I do very often and I don't want to get accused of any off-camera mining. So I'm just dotting my I's and crossing my T's. All right, and just like that, we have finished collecting all of the andesite we will need for the mountain. The next two blocks we're going to be needing are grass blocks and dirt blocks. But before we move on, I want to take a moment to thank a very special member of my community, Excalibur, who in between clips made me my own custom Totem of Undying texture pack. Now, I've had my own custom texture pack before, but this one definitely takes the cake. And not only this, but every once in a while, similar to the Blinking Totems texture pack, the eyes on the totem will actually blink as well, which is so sick. So I want to say thank you to Excalibur once again, and I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel down in the description so you can check out his videos. And I believe he said he's also going to be making a video on specifically how he made my particular texture pack. So if you want to check that out, I'm sure it will be there as well. But anyways, now it's time to actually pick out a location on the map to scoop up a bunch of grass and dirt, where the location of where we absolutely obliterate the land isn't really going to matter for a future project. The only problem is we have a lot of really interesting locations in this seed, and I can't seem to pick out a place I'd actually want to ruin. Maybe over here, kind of on this like almost peninsula looking area. This terrain here is kind of messed up from when we updated the world anyways. There's a little village out here in case we ever need to sleep or resupply, so I think maybe we're gonna head out to this plains biome. But with the last of the blocks collected, it's now time to move on to actually removing the mountain, and in order to do that, we're going to have to collect a couple of things to build a TnT Duper to destroy it all. And we're going to start with some iron from our iron farm to make a couple of mine carts. We'll need a few cobblestone walls, which we already have. We'll need a few pieces of dirt we just collected for some temporary blocks, a couple pieces of stone, a little bit of redstone and redstone repeaters, a stone pressure plate and an iron trap door, some obsidian, a couple of observers, a stack of cobblestone, a few levers, of course the TnT itself, and we're going to need some coral fans as well, so I'm going to borrow a few pieces from our little coral reef over by our starter base because we're never really over here looking at this anyways. And of course we're going to be needing some slime balls for slime blocks and sticky pistons, so I flew out to a nearby swamp biome to collect those in the middle of the night as well. Alright, so I've gathered all the supplies for the world eater, and I have built up a bit of a dirt pillar here to mark out where the height limit is for building in my world. And honestly, that's not a ton of space, so I'm kind of nervous to see how this is going to work out. We should absolutely be able to build it. I'm just worried about the TnT potentially exploding the machine itself, but I think we should be okay. And just to make sure that this dirt pillar doesn't interfere with the machine, I'm just going to leave that one lone floating cube up there to mark out where height limit is. And then we're going to fly over to the left side of the mountain here, and I'm going to start building up this machine, I think actually a couple blocks over. We're going to try to go from the back to the front, I think. Oh, we have a lot of work to do. We'll start like right here. Start building this like right here, I think. So we'll just pillar up again. And I think right here should be okay. And it's going to have to be because I'm out of temporary blocks. So yeah. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to place down a piece of stone, a piece of TnT on top of it, followed by a cobbled wall on top of that. Now we're just gonna take some spruce planks and bring out a few temporary blocks. Then we'll place a observer facing the direction we want it to go in. And we're going to come in with some slime blocks and make kind of a little weird shape like that. We'll place another one right here. I also forgot I need detector rails, so we're gonna make those real quick. Then we're gonna place that detector rail right here, and we're going to follow that up with the minecart on top. And then we just inserted the dead coral fan on the side of this slime block as well. Then we will need a sticky piston coming off the back, as well as another L-shaped formation of slime cubes here. And then this gap right there above our heads, we actually, hold on, let's reposition and place the other, excuse me, no, that's, there we go. Okay, that's what we wanted. Then off the back, we'll just need a piece of obsidian and another observer. It's okay, here comes another hard part. We gotta make it face that direction, so let's build out some more. There we go. Then we'll need a stone block above that and a repeater set to 2 ticks. And we're just going to put a piece of redstone dust on the back. Actually, I think we messed up. I think the repeater, oh my god, the repeater actually needs to be on top of the observer and then the redstone behind that. Then we're just going to place a lever right here underneath. We're going to activate said lever, and then we will have to crouch and place an iron trapdoor right there on the front of the repeater. Then we need another observer facing down. Did that work? Hold on, let me check out FreeCam here. I think we're good. But with the design figured out, I just went ahead and built a few more modules and then hurried up and finished off the return stations. And with that, we were off to the races with destroying the mountain. And to be completely honest with you, I'm very surprised as to how efficient this thing actually runs. We had a few issues with it, which I'll get to in a little bit, but for the most part, this worked perfectly and it saved us a bunch of time. All right, so I'm happy to say the World Eater worked. Kind of. There are a few issues, although this is so much more efficient than just trying to mine this mountain by hand, so I don't really mind. But yeah, there are some things we need to address. First of all, a few of these broke, so we're going to have to take these down by hand and rebuild them, which is fine. I have a bunch of extra supplies on me too, so we shouldn't lose any of these. The other issue is that the TnT is not completely removing every single block. I don't know if this machine was supposed to be able to do that, but as you can see, there's a bunch of these little blobs of stone every now and again, which isn't great. We may not actually have to remove these though. The mountain we're building is so big and the interior is empty that I'm fairly certain we can just leave these here and not really worry about it. The last problem, and the problem we need to fix right now, is this giant blob of lava. Please land. Oh my god. Okay. I need to figure out a way, first of all, oh, okay. I need to figure out a way to stop all this lava from flowing, which means we're going to have to go up to the top here, and I am going to have to manually remove all of the magma source blocks using a bunch of temporary items like dirt and cobblestone. Then I'm going to have to hope that it's just these layers here that are the problem. This side over here is going down. This side is not. So maybe one more layer here like this. There we go. Okay, I think we're good. Is everywhere going down? I don't think there's any more source blocks anywhere else. Just removed everything we placed down because there is another lava pool that I have to take care of, and I don't feel like going out to collect more temporary blocks, so we're just going to use what we have. Yes, all of this is going down, so that is that problem solved. Now we have to move on to this one here, which looks, honestly, a little bit more block intensive. Now all I have to do is take down these flying machines here and then rebuild them at the starting positions to let them continue going forward. And then I just have to take it all down again, rebuild it facing a different direction to clear out this side of the mountain, rebuild it again to clear out this part of the mountain, rebuild it again to clear out this part of the mountain, and then just repeat that process about 40 to 50 blocks lower so we can actually get to the base of the mountain. Would you guys please subscribe? This is an absolutely miserable experience. Alright, Alright, so I've had these TnT dupers running for quite a while now, and guys, check out the map. Look at the mountain, it's almost completely gone. I just have to run it over a couple more spaces in this area. I have to take out that back wall there, so across the bottom of the mountain here, I think at least this much. And this square needs to go, and then this entire back wall also needs to come down, so we'll do that as well. But before we do, I actually forgot, and I'm glad I remembered, we have all of our nether warts inside of the mountain here. This is where we were growing them to get red nether brick for our last build. So I am going to have to take all of this down real quick to make sure we don't waste it and get rid of it. Because I'm fairly certain we don't have any nether warts anywhere else in the world right now. I think I used every single last piece of them in our last build, so we're gonna have to make sure we don't waste any of this. And then I've got 2 shulker boxes here, so we'll just put the nether warts in one and then the soul sand in the other. We'll take down our little AFK chamber as well and throw those pieces of nether bricks into the shulker box as well. God, my inventory is such a mess. My inventory is always a mess. I got a comment the other day telling me about how badly I need a storage system. And while yes, I do have a storage system underneath of the main castle here, our gold room with the dragon and everything, that one is specifically only for things like gold, redstone, diamonds, and iron. It's basically just a big storage room for all of our valuable items that I need every now and again. So I really do need a much bigger storage system for automatic items. And let me tell you guys something. I don't want to spoil the next couple of videos just yet, but there is a reason why I have decided to hollow out the mountain instead of just building the new one over top of it. We're going to be putting something in here relatively soon. But anyways, I think it's time to get back to moving the TnT dupers around and letting them run. Alright, a few more hours later, and we finally have most of the mountain destroyed. About all of this here on the map. I think this should be good enough, and I'm kind of running out of time, so I need to get started on building. Before we can do that, I have to take down all these different TnT dupers here. Oh, that's not okay. Wait, okay. So I guess we should probably start by removing the TnT in each of these places here. It's actually, let's work backwards this time, maybe. Now, I am going to try my hardest to salvage a lot of these items that we're dropping because they are kind of valuable to us. Slime blocks in particular, we don't ever really have a lot of because I don't have a slime farm yet. I plan to do that in the near future, though. I just haven't designed the build for it yet. Well, all right, I got all of the super smelters down and completed. Unfortunately, a lot of the items that I was trying to pick up did despawn. It took me a while to take them down because they were spaced out so much, and I had to do it in a particular order to make sure they didn't fly off. So I didn't manage to salvage all of the blocks, but I did get a good bit of sticky pistons back. I got a lot of slime blocks back, which I'm really happy about because we will be needing those in the future. I got some observers, and I managed to spare some TNT as well, so I'm okay with that. You know, there was a lot of items involved, and we lost a good bit, but that's all right. As far as the mountain goes, I think we are good. I could run the TnT dupers over this again to try to get rid of the rest of these stone blocks. It's not really going to be that big of a problem, which means as the sun sets on another Minecraft day, it is time, finally, to start building the actual mountain. So I've been building this mountain for a couple of days now. You can see on the map, it looks pretty weird at the moment because I've been using Lightmatica, so it's just weirdly cut off in a few different spaces. But we are managing to make really good progress. I don't want to show it off yet to spoil things, but let me give you a little look at the interior here just so you guys can get kind of the idea of how big this thing is. Here you go. You can see like most of the old mountain fits underneath of it. So yeah, we've been doing a crazy amount of work over the past couple of days, but at the moment we have run into a bit of an issue. And no, I'm not talking about the pillager parade here that's going on the side of the mountain. If we go into free cam here, I am actually talking about this section of the old mountain. I thought that the new one would actually cover it up, but I don't think it's going to. It's actually going to slope down and cut right through the middle of this thing here. You can kind of also see where it's bleeding into the new mountain here. All of this snow in this kind of V shape is not supposed to be here. It's blocking the rest of the mountain. Also, by the way, this is our old nether portal that we're gonna have to raise out of the ground. I just thought it would be pretty funny if we left it sticking out there for a minute. Yeah, we're going to need to handle this issue as soon as possible. I really don't want to deal with this later. So we're going to have to put building the rest of the mountain on pause and get rid of all of these trees, all of this rock and snow here, and we'll probably also end up having to set up a beacon. All right, my friends. Well, after 2 weeks of on and off work, the mountain is finally done, and I am so incredibly happy with how this area looks with this thing now in place. In fact, this mountain is so big that I had to install a mod called Voxy in order for us to be able to see the entire thing. And if you ask me, Voxy is just a better version of Distant Horizons. If any of you are interested in what that does, Voxy allows you to basically just set absolutely insane render distances. Like you can go up to like 2,000 chunks or something like that. My computer obviously can't handle that, so we're just going to keep it at 128 for now. But if you can see like the left side of the mountain here, kind of towards the top, it looks a little weird, the rendering and the lighting, because it's so far away, but there's literally no other way we'd be able to see this thing. And I just want to check this thing out from a couple different points of interest. The first one and the main one, actually the whole reason why I built this mountain is because in this little dining room in our keep here, I have these open windows, and I love being able to see the castle and look over our kingdom from this area. But I also was viewing the mountains from here, and I honestly thought it would be really cool if we had something kind of neater looking in the background, and this is just, it's so perfect. Look at how massive those mountains look, especially with the fog and everything rolling in. Look at that. Oh, it looks absolutely perfect. I also do want to check it out from down in our little flower field here. Oh my god, it's so perfect. This has to be, I know I say this like every other episode, this is one of the best things I've ever made in this game. And to give you guys a little bit more of an idea of how big it is, look at the map. I did build the whole thing. It's not just the one side of it. I did completely, it is hollow inside, don't get me wrong, but I did build the map in its entirety, or the mountain in its entirety. I also do want to see if we can see it, if Voxy is going to work well enough that we can see it from our starter island here. So let's check that out. Oh my god. Yes. Dude, it just keeps getting better and better. Hold on. Let's go down, I guess I want to say from the castle. Let's see if we can see it from here. Oh my god. I even took it all the way down to sea level on the left here, so it does connect with the water. It doesn't go under the water, forgive me. I know that's going to be really annoying to some of you, but I did bring it at least down to the water on the sides, so it connects all seamlessly with the ground. And you know what? Let's go inside of one of these buildings here. Just stand on the balcony of one of these houses. Look at the view of this thing, man. Oh, where else would be a cool point to view it from? Maybe, you know what? Let's go see what it looks like down at the docks. I'm curious to see if we'll see it over the rest of the hill, because the hill is pretty big. Yep, we can still see the peaks over there. That's fantastic. Look at that. Dude, that adds so much to this area. And let's check it out up here too, right outside of our villager trading hall. Let's see the view that our lovely villagers get. This is what I'm talking about. This is absolutely what I'm talking about. So now I'm just going to fly you guys up to the base of the mountain, or actually we're going to land on the mountain. Now we'll go to the base. So you guys can actually really get a feel for just how big this mountain is. I mean, it kind of looks small from a ways away, but if we land right here, you can really, like, this is a massive amount of blocks. Now, while I'm flying over this thing, I want to address a problem I had. One of the things that really slowed this process down was actually the use of light Matica. When it comes to absolutely massive mega builds like this, Light Matica is really not great for proper block counts. In fact, in between sessions of the recordings of me building this that you guys have seen, I had to make 11, guess, count them, 11 additional mining sessions to collect the blocks I needed because Light Matica severely underestimated the actual block count. I needed 3 to 4 times more andesite than I initially thought, and that process, because I don't have any automated way of getting andesite, that took an additional couple of days, so I really want to apologize for this video taking so long to get out. It took like an extra 2 weeks than what I was expecting, but then again, also, you know, the mountain is just so incredibly huge. We're going to fly to the other side here so you guys can see this as well. I do still really want to do something with these 2 villages here, but even from this side, it definitely doesn't look as good on this side, but it's still absolutely fantastic. I am very, very proud of this build, and I am very, very happy with the way it turned out. This was one of the most daunting challenges I've ever done in Minecraft, and I can't believe I got it done. You know, it's so nice to have this here. We're gonna have a bunch of different little builds all over the mountain. We're gonna have tight, like, valley and mountain passageways for travelers to kind of go through. But yes, as the sun sets on our world and the moon rises, it is time to end the episode. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already, because this project was a massive amount of work. And yeah, I hope you have enjoyed, and I gotta get going because I've got more work to do.